we have a guy who has been making these awesome little videos for a while. His name, I think you pronounce it like this, Tori Kanabe. And he's been sort of merging VR with ChatGPT to create these scenarios to help us mere physical humans practice stuff. So the most recent one he did was all about ChatGPT being a wingman.
All right, Tom. How about those two girls over there by the wall? They seem to be chatting and not too involved in any other conversations. Why don't you go over and introduce yourself?
Hi there. I'm Tom. How are you guys enjoying the party so far?
Hi, I'm Alice, and this is my friend. The party has been a bit quiet so far. I don't know. I'm not really a party person. What about you, Tom? Are you having fun?
You seemed confident and engaged in the conversation, and Alice and Keiko seemed interested in what you had to say.
So Tori's German, and the hilarious thing about this clip is he just sounds this like very straight down the middle of the line German dude. Hey, guy, Greg, what should I do? Should I talk to these guys over there? And he makes a little joke about how he's going to talk to the two dudes about like vector embeddings. That was it was okay. Yeah. It was okay. But what's hilarious about this is like if you were to show someone in 1990 like what VR is going to be like, that's probably what they had in mind. Like this really awkward exchanges. You talk to the NPC. And there's this painful lag, and then it comes back, and it's all like super positive. It's like, hey, wow, Tom, you did really good there. That was great. Maybe next time, ask some more questions. And then there's this really weird section where there's this mixed race girl just dancing there, and she's like, hey, yeah, I just really like to dance. I just really like to dance like this. Maybe you should try dancing too. And the question you've got to ask yourself is like, what does that teach normal humans about social interaction in the real world?
Yeah, this is it. The idea of simulating stuff in VR is cool and works for certain things. Like, I don't know, if you're a firefighter, they do it to train in certain environments. Does it definitely work in social situations? Also, should you, if you're going to do a house party and you're going to, practice social things, maybe if it's your thing, I would go in a couple beers down probably. So I'd be in VR in a couple of beers, really loud music so you can barely hear anyone as well. Just to really, if you're going to simulate an actual house party, that's probably the way to do it. But
yeah, there's nothing quite like being in a conversation with someone where you have no idea what they're saying because you can't hear them. You're like, hey, yeah, that's great, yeah.
What's great? Yeah.
That's you can't really. Maybe you can replicate that in VR, and maybe that's not the point. But what's weird about this is the NPC has memory. The NPC understands what has just happened and can form an opinion based on what you did and how you interacted with the NPCs. And we shouldn't really be that surprised because ChatGPT, that's how it does what it does. It remembers the conversation. But now you're seeing that conversation being put into digital characters. It looks terrible. It feels clunky. But as with all of this stuff, when you think about what Midjourney can do and how like scaled up this can be, and then you put it in Unreal Engine, photorealistic and everything else, it won't be too long until it really is like being there. It's just virtual. And then I think we can start to kind of put the snark about the technical limitations of all of this stuff aside and really focus in on this single important thing, which is human versus digital interactions, what they teach us, what they don't teach us, and where they go next. Because, I mean, whether we like it or not, this is where things are going.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, to be vaguely serious for a moment, there is something cool about it, and we're going to see this go into video games where you're going to be walking around and NPCs don't have set responses, but they remember what you said before, and storylines can spin off from various different things as they generate in real time, which is definitely cool. So there's something really cool here. And at Based as well, you've been chatting to Quantum Engine, who do a similar thing, so it's starting to find its way into what we're doing as well. So yeah, maybe you can chat to us about that.
Yeah, so Quantum Engine is a Silicon Valley-backed AI company that no one's really ever heard of, but they're led by a young man called Jesse Liu. Jesse Liu is a proper AIOG, he hung out with Sam Altman, they worked on stuff together. He knows his stuff. Now, he doesn't have the profile of Sam Altman, but the tech that they're building is really interesting. We saw a demo with Quantum Engine where they took a chat engine and put it inside a Matrix demo where you could be a player and ask Morpheus to do things. So you could ask Morpheus to go and move an object in Unreal to another object or to start dancing. So there's logic built into this NPC. You can trigger that logic. And as far as they were telling me, the commands that you gave this NPC would then trigger the creation of blueprints, so the logic that drives the character in real time in response to what you said. That is next level. Because normally all of that stuff is baked in. It's pre-baked what the character can do, the limits of what it can do. But if it can then respond to things that you've said, write its own logic, and then go do what you want it to do, it's pretty interesting. So the way we're using it is we will be bringing our IP, which is Trashland and all this crazy stuff that we're doing, into a digital world in which I can be there in mocap. And we've done this before. We've gone in the Matrix demo world, and it's fantastic. You have NPCs walking around, but you can't talk to them. You can't interact with them. We were like, what if you could? So now, being able to put our lore, our IP into the mouths of these characters, have them talk. But because ChatGPT is now connected to the internet, it can refer to stuff that's going on in the world. So I can interrogate it about, let's say, the top 5 headlines about the metaverse, or whether Tim Sweeney's voice is a bit like Halliday's in Ready Player One, you know, all these kind of things. And I'll be able to have those conversations with it. Of course, you can set limits on what that character can do. But, you know, character AI, you've talked about this previously on the podcast, those kind of rich experiences, they've always felt like they were at a distance. They weren't accessible to us. And the setup that we've got is pretty rarefied. But then when you think about these open source large language models that are coming out, pretty much anyone's going to be able to run this for low cost, low bandwidth, low overhead in terms of computer size on a laptop, and start creating their own story worlds and their own rich experiences in that way. And of course, that time between question and answer will reduce. It's going to get weird.
Yeah, it's going to get super weird, isn't it? And awesome, definitely. And we'll see like a load of like crazy new experiences, video game based or Unreal Engine run, where all of this stuff that you're talking about is happening.